Zdravejte, or whatever you say. And that was my tell in Bulgarian, okay? That's the end of my tell in Bulgarian. But yeah, but I don't know. Thanks for being here actually, because I know that a lot of you are really tired at this point. But so I'm going to try to make it simple and even short if I can. So, but we're going to talk about how to perform NFT assessment. And when I talk about how to perform NFT assessment, I'm actually talking about how to perform NFT smart contract assessment, because everything comes down to work with the smart contract itself, okay? So that's why my talk it's called From Pixel to Profit, Mastering NFT Evaluation Strategies. So who I am. I work as a security consultant at NCC Group. I'm part of the blockchain practice. We have a global blockchain practice in NCC Group. Last but not least, this is my batch about when it comes to blockchain security. But to be honest, actually I learned more about doing the assessment itself than what I learned from getting the certification. So I came from Spain. It was a long travel, actually. And just a disclaimer before we start with the talk. Due to the lack of time, and because we can be talking about smart contracts all day, I will try, to make it simple, to skip some explanations, but they are still in the. You can find them in the slides, and any credit is given. And keep in mind, bear with me on this, because even I can perform NFT assessment, I know I by no means an expert in NFT. It's like when a pen tester can perform an API assessment, but that person might not be an expert on development and API. So that's the case for me in this case, okay? So this is our agenda for today. We are going to talk about, probably some of you are really familiar with NFT, but we're going to talk about what are they, how do they work, the common vulnerabilities we can find in smart contracts, in NFT smart contracts. We're going to introduce the audit methodology. We're going to see some tools on NFT in real life, and we are going to, if the time will allow us, we're going to interact with NFT smart contracts and some conclusions at the end. So let me introduce you, Andrea Papanopoulos, the great blockchain educator, who's going to tell you about what NFT are, and what is the main, and to get able to to understand what are they. It's better to compare NFT basic cryptocurrencies, because maybe more people are more familiar with cryptocurrencies than they are from from knowing what NFT are. So we can split the main difference in three topics when we talk about ownership, transactions, and tradability. When we talk about ownership, you can say, the holder, cryptocurrencies is like holding money, like the holder is entirely owns it. A coin it's owned by the holder, okay? But about what is the main difference from NFT? The owner of the NFT owns it with metadata. Probably the owner of the NFT only owns their metadata and and everything that is related with the non-fungible token, but sometimes it happens that the intellectual property belongs to the original artist. So why so? Because when we talk about NFT, we talk about non-fungible tokens that represent an asset that actually exists. We say it could be a digital asset and even a physical asset. Okay, when we talk about digital assets, we call, we can talk about, they could be images, they could be videos, they could be whatever you, whatever your imagination allows you, to think about it. So what about the transaction? Coins are mined. And on the contrary, NFT can be minted. And what minting means in the NFT world means converting a file into a token. So it's usable on a blockchain. And how we do that, that's why we use smart contracts. And that's why when performing an NFT assessment, we perform that test using their smart contracts, even though it's not just about the smart contract itself. We're going to see some other aspect that we need to take into account when performing an NFT assessment. So, what about the tradability? Cryptocurrencies are fungible because one crypto equals another crypto. But NFT, one NFT, it might not be equals as another NFT, okay? Because NFT are non-fungible. That's why the name. There are no equals that, like another NFT. They're unique. And they represent an asset, a digital asset, or a physical asset. That's why we can say that they are unique. It's like an artwork. An artwork, it won't be equals to another artwork. So, a brief history about NFTs. It's fair enough to think that the NFT have been with us that long, but on the contrary, they almost have more than 10 years. They've been around more than 10 years, and they started with color coins that were a special kind of coins that were unique because they have metadata link with that coin. It wasn't just whatever. It wasn't just whatever coin. It wasn't a Bitcoin. It wasn't because one Bitcoin is equal to another Bitcoin. But in this case, because they were linked to metadata, that's why color coins were unique from one to another. That's why we say that actually it was in 2013 when the NFT came to life. But we can talk about two periods when talking about the history of NFT. And those periods are the pre-ERC 721 standard and the post-ERC 721 era. Why so? Because the standard, the ERC 721 standard, actually came to it was created to set a guideline of how NFT should be created. Because if we promote a standard that any NFT smart contract is followed, we actually can communicate one smart contract to another. So this standard was made for that. That's why that's why it changed the game. It was a game changer. So how do they work? We can actually talk about two sides, okay? To get to understand all the process of the NFTs. We have the server side here, and we have the user side here. In the user side, we have two roles, or even three roles. We have the NFT owner, that could be the creator as well, and because sometimes the creator is not even the NFT owner. We're going to talk about that one later on. And we have the NFT buyer. On the server side, that NFT owner or creator, that could be the same person, will submit, is the one that need to be sure that the metadata linked to an NFT is accurate enough. I mean, the content is the one that is in charge of checking if the token, ID, the date, the content metadata is accurate before submitting that, that data into the chain, okay? Because when it's signed and it's verified by the NFT owner, it will link that metadata or related to an NFT to a smart contract. And this is when the process of minting begins, okay? Like we said, the process of minting is the creation of the smart contract, of this NFT smart contract, and within the blockchain, okay? This is when the consensus is performed, and if everything is correct, this smart contract is going to be on the chain. So two things that are really important when it comes to NFTs and the metadata. We talked about sometimes it could be the storage could be internal or external. It could be internal because we can actually have the NFT or the metadata linked to the NFT within the chain, but it will be gas consuming. It will be resources consuming. That's why, generally speaking, people usually use external storage to save that metadata, and then within the smart contract, there is a URL that represents when that metadata is stored. And we're going to talk about what kind of storage we have. So when it comes to performing an NFT assessment, we need to take into account some properties that NFT has. And those properties are actually properties that are inherited from these three topics. I mean, we can split them. The properties provided by the smart contract itself, because when talking about NFT, we're talking about smart contracts. The properties that are provided by the blockchain itself, just for being in a blockchain, we talk about some properties that are linked, that the NFT is going to take from them. And of course, because at the end of the day, NFTs are created by someone, by a person. And sometimes they are maintained by a person, but a person as well. We talk about those properties that human management provide. So when talking about, when getting to know this kind of property, when getting to understand this kind of property, it's when, and when performing an NFT assessment, is when we said, we can ask ourselves, so what are the security concerns regarding this kind of properties? What about the NFT is owned by someone? I mean, the NFT designate ownership by recording a blockchain address. What happens if that address it changed? Someone is able to change that address. What happened? So here, these properties will give us an idea of what should we ask even to the client to be able to understand how they deploy or where they deploy their NFT, and what are the security concerns from this kind of properties. So, and that's why this is actually the security concerns that are linked to those properties. And as I said, is one of the attributes of an NFT is that an NFT is owned by someone else. What happens if that account is compromised and the asset is transferred by malicious actors? So what happens if, for example, another one, probably NFT are transferable as well. What happened is the lack of smart contract mechanisms for the smart contract lack for mechanisms for token restoration. If we are not able to restore the NFT if an attack happens, so we're going to lose that NFT. So that's why this kind of properties and questions are security concerns that we need to we need to ask, or we need to try the answer. So what about the NFT security risk in general? Because, as I said, it's about smart contracts, of course. That's why anything vulnerability related with a smart contract will actually will potentially impact an NFT. But because NFTs, we can use marketplace to sell all our NFTs. That's why if we are using a third-party marketplace, we have another attack vector added to the to the situation, and that's why any marketplace risk, for example, OpenSea, that is one of the well-known marketplace for NFT, was hacked last year, and there were millions of NFT compromised. So that's why it's really important the marketplace that a client or a customer is using for their NFTs. And of course, because at the end of the day, NFT are actually, we have the human factor here. That's why anything related with social engineering to steal private keys will be another security risk. And the root pulls, and what are the root pulls? The root pulls are scam. So are those kind of projects that came to life and they went mainstream and everybody was putting money in there, was trying to create an NFT or trying to sell or buy NFT from there. And then one day, they disappear. So that's, and it happens a lot. Even though I wouldn't put money on an NFT, to be honest, but there are people that put in money in an NFT, and they even use RuPaul's, that kind of marketplace that are scams, that aren't well known, that they don't know about their security. So those are the main problems when it comes to NFTs. And what about when it comes to the methodology that we, when performing an NFT assessment, we need to take into account 3 aspects, and those are the network, the data management, and the data storage. And sorry about that. Where are we? Okay, here. Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about we need to take into account network, data management, and data storage. So why the network? Because when a customer asks us for performing an NFT assessment, and they tell us that they aren't following one of the well-known standards for non-fungible tokens, that's actually an issue. So the first issue you can find in an NFT assessment, because the best practice is to actually use one of these standards. The ERC20 is just used for fungible tokens. For any coins, for example, for cryptocurrencies, and the ERC 721 is used for NFT in this case, and there is another one that can be used for both kind of tokens, fungibles and non-fungible tokens. So that's why it is important, to get to know, to check if they are following the best practice regarding this kind of a standard. What about the data management? Why it is important? In this case, it is important because it is important where we save the metadata of that NFT. The metadata, is actually the description about what the NFT is. Where is the asset, the digital assets stored, or where or probably it says it contains, a physical direction, a physical address of where is the physical NFT, for example. So that's why it is important to get to know where the metadata is stored, because it is stored we're going to talk about where it can be stored, but if it is stored in a third party, this actually, we have another vector attack here. So that's why it's really important what kind of contract they are using and what is the marketplace they are using. And that's why, to even we have we're going to see one tool that it comes in handy whenever performing an NFT assessment, that is a Slither, because we can kind of check if they are following the best practice for the standard they're using. So with this command, we actually can kind of check if they are following that. And another thing in this phase, actually, that we need to take into account, if, for example, what we actually do in an NFT assessment is a code review. That's actually the main part of it. It's not the only thing that we do, but it's the main part of everything. We perform a code review. That's why when we have some functions like safe transfer from or safe min, and they are performing external calls to the receiver, we actually can say at this point that that's not that's not a recommended way to do it, and that's why we can check for reentrancy vulnerabilities. And what it is a reentrancy vulnerability? It is when a smart contract can be called by another smart contract before even actually completes their state. When there is a process in the smart contract that they need to complete, for example, the min process, and they are called by another smart contract before getting to complete that process, we can talk about reentrancies vulnerability. And even though they are really well known, they are quite common. You will say that, even, I can't tell you names, but even big companies fall into that kind of vulnerability. So what about the data storage and why it is important? Because normally, as I say, because this is storing the NFT within the chain, it is gas consuming, it is resource consuming. In general speaking, NFT projects are always, save store their data elsewhere, and that's why we need to know what kind of store method they are using in order to know if they are using a good one, a safe one, and what kind of method they're using for that. So that's why, as I say, the smart contract provides that URL for each token. So what are the most common ways to store NFT? We have software wallet, like MetaMask, for example. We can have NFT on MetaMask. We have the IPFS, like Piñata. I'm going to show you one of my NFT in Piñata. That this is kind of a peer-to-peer system, like like you can share data over there, and it represents like a library, okay? And we always we have as well cold storage of our wallet. This is our kind. I mean, they are not that common in big companies, but are kind of you know. I really enjoy doing performance assessment within this kind of hardware wallet. So, what about the tools for code review and analysis? Because at the end of the day, that's what we actually do. We perform a code review. So this is a list. There are not all the tools that we have or we can use, but this is a really good list of the tools that we normally use when performing an assessment, an NFT assessment. But bear with me on this because, I mean, recommendation wise, in this case, whenever you ask the client share with you a smart contract, they should share with you which kind of framework they use for develop that smart contract, and they should share with you the unit test as well. So the better way to perform an assessment in this kind of smart contract is to use to test the smart contract locally. Why? Because if you use Foundry, for example, that it is a development framework, you can use a local node like with Anvil, that you are not gonna need currency. You are not gonna need coins. You are not gonna need Ether or whatever coins that you should probably need, you know, to interact into an NFT. Of course, if the best scenario is that the customer actually gives you access to their test environment, but actually that doesn't happen a lot, unfortunately. So when this is a good list because you can ask yourself, okay, but if this is a code review, and we are talking about that, for example, most of the smart contracts are made on Solidity. So what are the witnesses also of those smart contracts? These people, those that weren't in charge of this project, list a very detailed list of smart contract witnesses classifications. So they are not longer updated. They even tell you where you should get the latest update of this kind of data, of information. But still, they have a really good list of witnesses related with the smart contract. And this one here. Sorry, this one here is actually as what it gives you an idea that the security checks you can perform when doing a code review of a smart contract. So here we have the NFT in real life. This is my NFT. You can even buy it if you want. That will be funny for me, actually. Or you can try to steal my NFT as well. That could be. So we're gonna see this NFT in real life. So this is an NFT on OpenSea. On the testnet, the testnet is one of their test platform, okay? And here, what is interesting about this NFT? What is interesting about this that it is represented here in OpenSea, is that we can get to know where is stored the metadata of this NFT. And that's why I was talking to you about that the metadata could be within the chain, but it will be consuming a lot of gas, and that's why I actually use IPFS, which is piñata, to store the metadata related to that NFT, and what the metadata actually has. The metadata includes the description, where is that image stored. So where is that image stored? That image is stored actually in Piñata, which is the platform that you can use, to store metadata related with digital access. So this is where it is stored. And what is another interesting thing about get to the searching some NFTs in this kind of platform is because you have the contract address, and you have the contract address, the NFT smart contract of this NFT link to the NFT to my photo. So that's why. And you can see, because blockchain is actually something that you can check, and you can see all this history of the transaction that have been performed. You can actually, because I decided that way, you can actually see the code, the source code of this smart contract for this NFT. That's why I was telling you that you can actually try to perform an attack. And to get to be able to actually steal my NFT, or you can, the better way to do it is to buy my NFT as well. So I don't mind. So the good part of this kind of platforms, the interesting part of this kind of platform is that when someone share, because you can actually share the code, or you can decode it. So when someone shares the code, you can actually see what are the functions that this smart contract, that you can call from this smart contract. And that's why you can actually, you can test this kind of platform just to be, just to get to know what the code does, and what are the functions that I can call, and even perform some input validation just in case something was made wrong. So this is why we have here we have another tools. I just want to share with you that we actually have an NFT in real life. This is the smart contract is deployed on Polygon Scan. It could be deployed on Ethereum, but I just choose this one because I use fake coin as well. But here you have, you're going to share the presentations later on, right? I'm going to share with you this presentation because here you have some CTF that are really, that comes handy whenever you want, to understand how smart contracts work. So here you have Ethernet Open Zeppelin. That this one is really, it's quite interesting. And of course, we have the damn vulnerable DeFi as well. So, whenever performing an NFT assessment, what we actually, the final result of this process is actually a report for the customer, okay? And that's why, and sometimes when you are getting started with NFT, you probably will have a hard time getting to identify what kind of of issues or findings we can find this kind of assessment. So that's why I share with you some of these examples, some reports that were made published for from Open Zeppelin, that it will give you an idea of how a report of a smart contract will look like. So because I don't know how we have time. We're going to try to interact with NFT. This is actually a really, I keep it simple because I gave you all these details actually for you to be able to try to to set out even to deploy an NFT yourself using, of course, fake coins. Matic, that it is you can use a fake coin, or under Mumbai Faucet, that it is actually a platform that you can use for testing purposes. So that's why I gave you this kind of data that you can use to try to deploy an NFT yourself. But we're going to see what about the we're going to try to interact with a smart contract using, using what it is happening with this fallback function, okay? So we have Ether now. That was one of the platforms that I shared with you, that they have a really interesting CTF. So this is actually a challenge that we need to perform in order to, what are the main, in order to be able to steal this smart contract and be able to withdraw their funds. Okay, so I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna try to open a new instance, and they will ask. That's why I have MetaMask. I don't know if you are aware, or if you are familiar with MetaMask. MetaMask is a wallet, and I actually have just fake coin. Okay, but I have Sepolia ETH. That is a fake coin, and they, in order to get a new instance, they will ask you for to do the transaction, because you will need some gas to perform. So let's see if we can get. This is the when getting a new instance. This is the contract address. When we get that new instance. So this is the contract address that we're going to use in this example. So Remit, I'm using Remit because everything that, I don't know why it doesn't look, you're able to see it well, more or less. So because Remit, in the slide, I put some information about Remit, but this is actually a testing development tool. So we're going to use Remit. What we're going to do is, this is the smart contract. This is the smart contract from here, okay? This is the code we're using from this smart contract. So in order to test it using Remit, it is a test tool. We need to compile that smart contract, and in order to compile that smart contract, we need to, this could be an issue if actually a customer share with us this kind of smart contract, and they are using a solidity that it's all enough. This is actually an issue, okay? This is actually a finding, because this is the kind of things that we need to check within the code. So we need to deploy. We need to use the compiler, the same compiler, and we need to deploy this smart contract. it should be deployed here. And in order to, to get to know or to understand what the smart contract is doing, this is actually, the challenge, it's called fallback. And why it's called fallback? Because a fallback function is a best practice when you want your smart contract to receive F from another smart contract. But you can do it in a safe way, or you can do it in the worst ways possible. That I'm going to show you that this is actually the worst way possible, because you can do it in a simple way, or you can actually add in the fallback function, in the fallback function, functions that allows you to change the owner of a smart contract. And that's what we are going to try to do. I mean, if the owner of this smart contract is actually this contract address, okay? Is where the instance, we deploy the new instance, okay? So that's why when we're performing a test within a smart contract or within the remit, we need to make sure that we are using the same wallet that we are using. In this case, in MetaMask. This is actually my account. This is actually my account from MetaMask. So you can see it here. It's a bit slow, but trust me, it is my account. So here, you can see it, okay? Here. So what we're going to do is we need to understand where in the code they are calling owner, or where in the code they're actually trying to, to change the owner of this smart contract. And we have a lot of functions here, but mainly they are actually trying, to change the owner in two functions. Contribute is where we see that the owner is changed, and in receive is where we see the owner change. So I'm gonna try to deploy this smart contract in this address. It will ask for gas. That's why I am saying that whenever whenever testing this kind of environment, we should have fake money. So, and you can see when this NFT, this smart contract is deployed, you can see here that we have here actually the functions that are being called, or that are included in the smart contract in the code. Okay, so but if you see, we have the contribute, we have the contribute function, we have the get contribute, we have the get contribution as well, we have the withdraw, but what is the receive? Can we call the receive from, from within the remit? We can call the receive. And what is happening whenever we don't have a way to call a function or to call a class? We can use, in remit, we can use this call data, this transact, that it will be calling whatever function or whatever class that it is in containing within the function that we should be able to call. So what we are going to do, yeah, it's calling. What we're going to do is try, what it's saying, this function that we are going to try to call from outside using this call data. This is actually saying something like, okay, in order to be the owner of this smart contract, you should have have given us a contribution, and you should somehow in the past have been able. I mean, you should have interact with this smart contract, and that's what we're gonna do. We contribute, because we can call contribute from outside. I mean, from within the functions, we can call within remit. We're going to try to send some way. This is another kind of I mean, it could be ETH, but we're going to use way. This is another kind of fake coin. We're going to call the contribute, and we need to confirm the transaction. Let's see, it is worth. Transaction pending. It says, okay, transaction confirm. Let's see. This is actually the problem with the live demo. But we get into there. Let's see if we can actually contribute. Because if we are able to contribute with money, we are able to match one of the consideration that the receive function has. Okay, so let's see if it change. In some part, this balance should be changed for whatever way we were sending. Okay. But trust me, let's see let's perform another amount. Oh, okay, see? It changed, okay? So we were able to contribute some money. So in that case, and we were able in the past to actually interact with this smart contract. So in that case, we should be able to be the new owner of this smart contract. So whenever it wants to send the money, we should be able to be the owners. So, but anyway, whenever if once we were able to send some money, to contribute some money, we were able to match one of the conditions from the receive function, and in this case, it should happen that we let's see. What is this address? It's mine. Is my address from MetaMask. Let's see. So that's why I'm the new owner of this smart contract. And the last but not less important important condition, it was, or the main goal from this example was, to get to withdraw this amount of ETH. And to get to withdraw this amount of ETH, with get estimation fail, of course it will fail, but we try again. And because we don't have actually, we are, we are using the fallback function, which is calling a function that doesn't exist, or using some money that it isn't expecting, that we kind of steal, or we are going to try to steal or to withdraw this amount of money. Let's see. It lets me to withdraw the balance of the funds that this smart contract have. If not, you can trust me, you can try. but we were able to, to contribute with some money. We were able to be the new owner of this smart contract. And the last but not least that we should be able to do whenever this want to work is to be able to actually withdraw that amount of money from the smart contract. But for whatever reason, it isn't working right now. But trust me, I mean, you can actually do it. So, getting back to our presentation. So that's why you will actually have this CTF file, but here, and you will have as well the smart contract deployed in Remix contract, so you can try whenever you want. Because yeah, it is actually a smart way, to get to know or to get to interact with NFT as well. So some of the conclusion that from this presentation, actually. I mean, the big problem with NFT, apart from being a scam, okay, apart from being they could be a scam, but you will be, you will be impressive for the amount of companies that actually are using NFT, and they are looking for people that are able to actually perform assessment of NFTs. Because NFT are, at the end of the day, are actually smart NFT, smart contract. Whatever vulnerability is linked with a smart contract will potentially affect or impact NFT as well. And of course, social engineering as well. So that's why. That's why smart contract auditors are crucial in this world in NFT. That's why, even though the NFT went down last year, the use of NFT went down last year, there are a lot of companies that are still using NFTs for gains, for example, MBA, for example. So they are actually looking for people that, that are able to perform this kind of assessment. So, last but not least, many thanks for having me, for accepting my proposal. And just I want to give a big applause and everything in charge of the organization of this event, because without you, we won't be here. So please give an applause to everyone.
Thank you to
and thank you, Prashant.